welcome, guys, to yet another episode of It's Related.
I promise.
I did it, yeah?
You did it.
Well done. You did it. Most improved. Guys, I'm so excited to be on set with these amazing creators. And before I let you know what we're going to be discussing today, let me just quickly take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Shaz, aka Shazo, and I am 1/3 of It's Related, I Promise. And on my immediate left,
Murugi Munyi. I am a content creator, an entrepreneur, a podcaster, and just a woman.
just a woman.
Yes.
Muchiri Mike. I'm a content creator.
Comedian, activist.
All those things. Yeah, I think that's basically it. And I do corporate MCing.
Hey.
Yeah,
Oh, I
sometimes.
didn't know. Cool.
Yeah, and I sing sometimes. Yeah, I also do
But
skits.
you've refused to sing our theme song, but you sing.
I promise. Yeah. Cause I've done it twice. Okay.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Jules. I am also 1/3 of It's Related, I Promise. I also have another podcast. So this is Love, Shameless Plug, available on Spotify or anywhere you find your podcasts. And you can find me on my Instagram at Jules_her. That's JULES, not Z.
Amazing.
I have a question. 1/3. Where is
Noni.
missing third?
She's in London, babes.
She's in the UK.
UK.
You know,
I get
she's
the
in
London look.
Yeah.
Britain. But yes, we'd initially started as 3, but now we are 2. But she's very involved behind the scenes.
Oh, nice.
Alright.
Okay.
Exactly.
Good.
So actually, as we are shameless plugging, the reason Jules and I are matchy, which is our first time
Hashtag
doing this. Hashtag twins. Where have you been? So we are wearing a Kenyan brand called Sunday Society, and this is a 2-piece. And yeah, this is what it looks like on me, and that's what it looks like on Jules.
Yeah.
And we'll post more pictures on Instagram. as well.
We did not know we were going to match. So we were told to pick any outfits
yeah.
from their page.
Yes.
And this is what I picked. And then a few days after, Sharon was like, "By the way, what did you pick?" And I'm like, "I picked the 2-piece." So we had a bit of a, should we go matching?
Right.
It's
So
giving
cute.
the
It's
early
really
90s when it was black and white.
I love it. I love it. Looks so nice.
Does
Yeah.
2-piece
Imagine
mean like
Bea
it's
told
2
us.
pieces?
Yeah.
Yes,
Top
to-
and
to-
bottom.
Top and it's high waist.
What did you think it meant?
What is
Just
it like
curious.
to be a man?
Curious, like in your mind, like what were you thinking?
I'm just asking. No,
Like-
because I've always wondered. Even my babe says 2-piece, and every single
Yeah.
time I'm like, 2-piece.
So you've never asked?
Yeah.
Now you
Now
know.
it makes
Now you
sense.
Now it makes
The
sense.
top
Yeah,
and
there's a
bottom.
top and
Yeah.
exactly.
Like even bikini is like, oh, I'm wearing a 2-piece. So it's top and bottom.
bottom.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
wearing
Now
a
it makes
1-piece.
sense.
It's
Yeah.
the one we call swimming costume.
Me, I
Yeah.
thought they're like attached at the middle.
Being a man,
okay,
that's
all
so
Really
wow,
quite something.
wow. But it's the same thing. I feel like for us and like things like cars, like I don't know much about cars.
You know, I wanted to ask a question. I'm one of those people who, if I don't ask the question right now, I'm gonna forget it.
Okay, ask.
Do you get tired of introducing yourselves over and over every single episode?
Yeah. I think I do, but I know we have to do it because in case there's new people. Yeah.
Jules.
Yeah, no, I don't get tired because
Yeah,
it just
clearly,
takes 2
you
seconds.
have so much enthusiasm.
Yeah, I do.
Wait,
I
it's
don't know why I'm
enthusiasm,
laughing
yeah.
because Mike, even when you talk, like you're being for real right now. You're not being.
I am,
Like
for
I'm
real,
so
I'm
used to
just-
your character. I'm
Yeah.
also
Genuinely
doing a double
asking.
take. Like
So you
No,
are
I'm
not actually
genuinely
trying to be cheeky.
No,
Okay,
no,
sorry.
I'm
Because I'm here
genuinely asking.
giggling, but he's actually being
Because
serious.
I loved your energy at the beginning of the
episode.
Yeah.
But this is like my energy all the time. Good, amazing, positive.
You know, I feel like
vibrant
if I started
energy.
a podcast, that would be one of my problems. Hey guys, it's me again.
like we forgot.
It's
then
me
my
again from
yeah.
last time.
Yeah.
It's now still me.
And
If you wanna
sometimes-
know my name, go watch the other.
Yeah. And sometimes you're shooting more than one episode in a day.
In a
So
day,
Yeah.
you have
yeah.
to introduce. I mean, Murugi, you
Exactly,
you have
yeah.
the
and
same
have
Yeah.
new energy.
experience.
It's But
You're
anyway,
an
guys,
actor.
we
You
need to get
shouldn't be that
into the theme.
All right, yes.
Remember, we were here to do a podcast,
Oh,
a
yeah,
specific
yeah.
one,
Okay.
specific episode.
Thanks for
Classmates.
reminding us.
So for those of you who've been here long enough, you know that within It's Related, I Promise, we have a mini series that we call Surviving the Gig Economy. And where this came to be is because, so I joined the gig economy, or rather the creator economy, without wanting to. I was laid off my corporate job, and here I am. And for Julia, my co-host, she had always wanted to tap into her creative side, and so she purposed to leave the corporate world and join the gig economy. We've been here for the last, I think, how long have we been in this gig thing? A year? For me, it's been about a year and a half. Yours may be
7.
7.
No, but like
Like
alone.
full-time. Yeah,
Full time.
alone, yeah.
Full time, I would say 3,
Right.
4.
Yes.
2020.
Oh, 4.
Yeah, from 2020.
Exactly.
Pandemic.
Yes.
You've only been in the space for a year?
Yeah.
Well, full time, but you
Full
were
time.
still
I was
creating.
still- yeah, I was still
just
creating,
not
but
Yeah,
like
because I
full-
used to see you around creatives.
But it was very much my side hustle or this thing I do
Hobby.
for fun, hobby.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why we started this series was like, okay, this is what we're
Now.
doing full time.
Full-time,
This is
yeah.
what's putting food on the table. This is the business now, the main thing.
Okay.
And so why we called it surviving the gig economy is because for real, you have to survive. Like I feel like at some point when we start thriving, which we are soon going to be, maybe we call it thriving in the gig economy. But for now, we want to highlight the parts that aren't so glossy and so glamorous, and we want to share tips on how we've been able to navigate and how we're continuing to navigate these spaces. So the reason we invited the two of you specifically is because we felt like you guys are very seasoned, especially when it comes to monetizing within the creator and the influencer community. And I read an interesting statistic from this report on Goldman Sachs. And basically, they were saying that the current global creator economy is worth 250 billion US dollars. So I think we're definitely in the right space, but sometimes it can feel so hard and like, is this what, like sometimes it doesn't feel like we're benefiting from that massive figure that I've just mentioned. But I do think that we're in the right space, and I'd love for us to share openly some of the tips and tricks that we've especially for you guys that you've learned in your journey, and for someone who's watching, what they can take away from your journey, basically. But before we get into all of that, our regular segment, What Caught Your Attention, is what we ask our guests just to know, where your mind is at, what's been going on with you, and we can kick off with my seatmate.
Okay.
My seatmate, Murugi,
Let me
what's caught your
start.
attention?
So today, as we are recording this, I don't know when this episode is going up, but today kids open school, so they are back in school today. And yesterday, actually, I think it was when I was speaking to Jules that I was just like, it occurred to me that there are women who are living in their 30s who actually wouldn't know that kids are going back to school today because
I didn't
they
know.
do not have children.
Yeah.
So yesterday she was trying to call me and I'm just like, literally, I'm in the hustle of like, where's your sweater? Somebody's pencil case is missing. And then I'm trying to find their bags and their school shoes. Someone has done something. And I was like, wow, I actually will never, ever, ever know what it's like to be a woman in my 30s to just be taking care of myself. Because I got married when I was 27, I want to say,
Interesting, yeah.
27. And by the time I was getting married, I got my first child when I was 19. So I will never know what it's like to be in your 20s without children. I will never know what it's like to be in your 30s and not have a husband and kids. That's just not my lived reality. And sometimes it strikes me, especially when I interact with like people like Jules or like with Lydia, my co-host at TMI podcast. It's just like, wow. Her life
Like,
is
those are your
so
struggles.
different. Yeah, it's just like her life is just so different. Like sometimes she'll just be like, oh, she's just gotten home, she's taken a shower, she's eating food, she's watching something. I'm like, me when I get home, my second job begins. And when those kids go to sleep, my third job begins. And then when my husband goes to sleep, now I'm like, wow, it's just me. And that's now 11:30 p.m. and it's time for bed. And it just struck me how many different ways of like life being lived there are in like the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, my friend actually came to my house recently. Dee, I think she's been a guest. Actually, she hasn't been a guest on IRIP. She needs to be.
Oh, she has it. Yeah,
Dorcas,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
and
yeah.
she just she's
Things
has a
Dee
two-
says.
Things Dee says.
Okay,
And we were going for a play on last week Friday. So she came to my house and she walked in, and I was like, just taking my plates to the kitchen, and she's like, wow, this is your house. It's peaceful, it's quiet, because there was like jazz in the background, there was a candle, and I was reading my book because I tried to do like 10 pages a day. And she's like, babe, I have never lived by myself in this Nairobi. I have a husband, I have a child,
Yep.
I have... Yeah,
That's crazy.
It's so funny because us on this end we're like, we can't wait to like start a family.
Yeah, have
and then on this end they're like, man, I want this. I wish I had this piece from
peace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So takeaway is like just accept or
Wherever
appreciate
you are.
where you
Where
are.
I want what
just
you
because
have.
Yeah.
everyone is looking for things. The grass is greener somewhere
It's
else.
true, so true.
And it just shows everyone is on their journey.
Everyone is just on their journey.
Exactly.
Now uko pali huko. Now what can we do about
What
it?
can we do?
You're where you are.
Yeah, I can't force your
That's
life.
it, that's
and you
it.
can also can't get
Yeah,
rid
I
of
also
you.
cannot. Apparently, you have kids. You like now
It's a
are a
forever
mother
thing.
every day. Every day you're a
Forever.
mom. Yeah.
Forever.
That's a peculiar conversation. 'Cause, it is because I feel like a good percentage of men live alone before they actually settle down and have a family.
Yes, that's true.
A very
That
big
bachelor life
percentage.
is
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
normal.
And I'm actually last night I was just on my couch thinking. I was reading a book and the TV was on and I was just looking through my balcony. I was just thinking, wow, this is my house. This is my book. And then I look over, I see my kitchen.
That's your
my
kitchen.
kitchen, yeah. And then when I'm driving here, I don't even have to buy a car seat for those small creatures. You get like
Serrano.
Wow.
it's actually very peaceful.
Mike, I
It's
get
so
it.
big, it's so
Yeah,
peaceful.
I get it.
Like I'm
I
not
get
driving
it.
the knife in, but what?
Have you pictured yourself
kid
like
in
as a
this
dad?
economy, yeah.
Like, have you gone down
I
that
have.
loop?
I love kids so much. Not now though.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, in future.
In future.
Yeah, but anyway, something that stood out for me, a highlight of my week.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Just something. Yeah. Top of mind.
Yeah, it's been this ikrap, yeah, CG, the Kenyan Diamond, the Kenyan Jason Derulo,
Oh,
You get
right.
the
I saw Kenyan
Kenyan-
Nicki Minaj today.
the Kenyan Cardi B.
Oh, yes, this trend.
Yeah.
The
Well,
lookalikes.
Because I have so
don't
many
really look
questions
alike.
because that guy, especially the Kenyan Jason Derulo. It's Jason Derulo.
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Wait, I
Have you
didn't.
been seeing
No, I've been
that?
seeing, but
Wait.
I didn't
Sorry.
have come to Kenya.
It's in Kenya.
I was seeing it on like Shade Room for
Yeah.
like, the Americans. It's
No,
come
it's
to
in
Kenya.
Kenya.
Could you guys
It's in
explain to
Kenya.
those of
This
us in
guy-
the
yeah,
back,
so-
what is this trend? Like, just finding people in Kenya who
It's
look
actually
like those,
something that's very big right now.
those celebrities.
Yeah. Someone who's claiming to be a lookalike of Ruga. You guys know
Yes.
the Ruga lookalike, right? Sindio?
Are these famous
Nice
people or
one.
just
Insert
like a regular?
pictures here of Kenyan Ruga. Insert pictures of Kenyan Jason Derulo and Kenyan Nicki
And you see,
Minaj.
the funny,
Yeah.
none of them actually
Look
looks like
like-
the celebrity
yeah.
they claim to look alike. Plus, I was also thinking there's also this annoying Kenyan culture of equating you to someone who they think is bigger than you just because you do something similar with them. Let me be very specific. You could be a singer and then you post a video of yourself singing. It could be TikTok, it could be Instagram, whatever platform. And then someone will comment there, this is the Kenyan Whitney Houston. Like, bro, I'm just the Kenyan Jules. I'm just the Kenyan Muchiri, Mike. You get?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to equate me to someone else. Like,
So you don't find it complimentary? Because I think that's where it comes from. If someone's just trying to
you're the
compliment
Kenyan
you.
Trevor Noah. I'm just the Kenyan me, bro.
Got it.
Yeah. I don't find that compliment. I don't take that as a compliment.
Interesting. Okay.
Na msikate hii kupromote show.
Exactly. And that's when it will trend. And you'll be like, okay, he said, people said it's the Kenyan
This guy is
Trevor
full of
Noah.
himself. Nini. You know, I once went on a podcast. Let me tell you. But I don't do podcasts.
Apale-
Let me just be.
really?
It's only that Jules is here. No shade. Jules is a friend of mine. I went on this podcast nikasema. The relationship the media has with content creators is a very toxic relationship.
Cut that part now.
Cause me I don't do TV shows. I don't, and I'm gonna say it again with no fear of contradiction, with no fear of kupikwa or anything. Me, I don't do TV shows. I don't do TV interviews. I mean, or radio interviews, or even YouTube. Cause first of all, unapatanga when you're going for a TV show, especially when it's like a big TV, it's like a big TV station. The host really has research on you, so they all ask the same questions. Unapata producer wa show, the producer was the one who did research on you, and he knows so little about you, so they're asking very shallow.
Oh, the same. What challenges have you faced?
As a creator.
When did you begin?
When did
Who
you-
inspires you? Like, I
Yeah.
could tell you all the questions they ask. So, plus they always use like a very controversial
Segments,
thing that you said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Without
and they
context.
don't care.
Yeah.
they don't care whether the criticism will be negative or positive.
Yeah, as
Them
long
as
as
long
it's
as they get the
clickbait.
views, the
Yeah.
engagement, at the expense of your mental health, them they're good. So yeah, someone even called me Beyonce. Someone said, "Sijui, I think who I yes, and I think I am who I am." So,
But you don't feel like as a creator, you just kind of have to just make peace with
With
the
the-
fact, because people misquote you all the time. They
All
don't
the
say
time,
anything
yeah.
unless you never say anything
I
anywhere.
had someone write an article about me and Esther Kazungu that we are dating. And
Wow.
she had
How
a
lovely.
full-blown husband. You know?
And child.
And child, yeah.
Ah, damn.
Since we anga Mike Muchiri, anga ke. Yeah, but yeah. So that podcast, they really just took a small thing.
for promotional purposes.
Yeah.
I get it, but then also sometimes because I'm in the space, sometimes I understand that it's the way things need to happen for you need the views. Like at the end of the day,
I feel like I would never do.
maybe for you, like even for me, like on a past, if this is my podcast, I would not do something like that at the expense of your mental health, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I might not use it as a blueprint, but I will still use the same structure. Like, okay, this is something catchy, so this is what we're going to use to promote the episode. So we are going to cut that part out.
But you know, sometimes it's not ill-intentioned. Like sometimes it just happens.
And then it takes a life of its own.
And then it takes a life of its own. And I
Yeah.
think that's the importance of going on platforms where you know these people have your best interest at heart. So that if you call them and tell them, please take this promo down because it could be problematic for me. For example, I went on a
Kwanza hapo
podcast.
unaanza war.
No, sometimes they'll accept. Like I went on a podcast, Financially Incorrect, if you guys know that podcast, and there were some things that we said on that podcast about like how much I earned from a particular campaign and in a particular year. They had taken a snippet of that particular part and used it as both the title of the podcast and also as a promo. KRA were literally at my shop the next day. The next
Lying.
day, I'm not even lying. I had to call them and tell them like, but at first they hadn't said they were KRA guys, but they're like, they came to the shop and they were just like, oh, we need to see your books. Please show us. Do you have your license? Whatever, is it up to date? I had to just call them and tell them, please change first the title of the podcast and put it instead of writing. It was written like I made 10 million from XXX. I was just like, just say I made millions so that it's like more vague. And they took down the promo and they were like, we are so sorry, we didn't intend for it to be like, you know, something like that. So you see, in that case, it wasn't like they wanted me to get in trouble, but like it took a life of its own. But thankfully, they were gracious enough to take it down.
Those KRA guys have time to come to your shop na
Oh,
eating
they do.
zaifanyi.
Imagine. Don't
Yeah?
even get me started.
Imagine.
On
And
E-teams.
You know, eatings. You know,
Let's talk
E-Africa.
about
You guys know
eatings.
E-Africa. E-Africa taught me patience, but eatings is teaching me patience on a whole other level.
Right. Hold it
Okay,
fast.
sorry.
Let's hear what caught Julia's attention.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
We're still at the beginning, guys.
Hey, what has caught me okay, I had one, and then, you know, maybe you guys can tell me which one is good. I was going to say, what's caught my attention is that I've gotten to a place, and it's related to this conversation. I could never be able to say no to work that came, even if it was a brand that I'm like, I don't believe in your philosophy. I just used to be like, I just need to survive, you know. But now, even if I'm in the same place financially, yani, my account is looking the same way it did those days, I've gotten to a mindset where I can be like, I have the confidence to walk away, but it's still not easy to say no to money. And the other thing I wanted to say that's caught my attention is kind of also related, is that I'm so grateful that we have gotten to our place in our lives that we can make money as creatives alone.
Yeah.
Because
I love that.
when we were Akina Bear's age in the, you know, back there, these Gen Zs behind the scenes, at 24, 25.
Talk about you.
Oh, when Gen Z?
Oh, for real.
Who invited this guy, man?
Well, I have a whole
Where's
I have a
Gen
whole
Z?
life.
When is Gen Z?
The Gen
Mini
Z.
Gen-
Where's the millennial?
Wait.
Apana.
Wait.
So,
Okay, guys, I'm a Gen Z guy.
No, I think you're like right on the edge.
on the edge.
Okay, I'm
You're
26.
20.
So.
That's
Uko 26.
it.
You're
Yo,
26.
that's Gen Z.
Oh, you're Gen Z.
Yeah.
So, but it's so interesting how Gen Zs and millennials can be sitting on the same couch and you guys don't think we are close in experiences and age.
Hey, Bear today.
Guy.
You know, I remember that conversation we had, and then you said you were in Form 4 when I was in class.
Yeah.
Class 2.
I don't even want to
Yeah,
say it.
yeah.
Hey, I can't believe we're those people.
We are
You know,
those people.
that's
We've become
so
those
shocking.
aunties.
Hey, Jules, Bana.
Imagine. And we can be in the same show as husband and wife.
Yeah.
You
That's
see,
crazy.
you're not so far from us.
And
we
that's
are
on
close. We
skincare,
are close.
yeah.
The millennials, Gen Z. What I was trying to say is, yes, because when at now that age of 24, 25, the kind of shock you give your parents when you tell them you are I want to be an actor. I want to be a makeup artist. I want to be a visual artist. It was, you have to be that end.
Yeah.
It was very hard to do it alone. So I'm so grateful that the creative space has gotten to where it's at. And I must commend the brave ones who did it ahead. The days of Kalamashaka, the days of, I mean, they're still there, Kinai or whatever, but that is a brave thing to do and stick on that path because it was because of them that we are able to do this, and it's because of us you're able to be where you're at.
Period. Sikatai. Period. Like,
So as you're here talking badly about millennials, please, can you...
No, I respect
can you,
millennials.
yeah.
I actually
Thank
feel
you.
more of a millennial than a Gen Z. So,
For
You even
real.
present
What does that feel
more as millennial than Gen Z.
what does
like?
one
What
look
does
like?
feeling like a millennial feel like as a Gen
don't know,
Z?
I just
like,
feel-
you're feeling.
I can't describe. I just feel old.
You just feel.
Yeah. I just
You know
feel-
what?
I just feel
I
older.
get it.
Cut the show. Cut the show.
Yeah.
You
So
just
yeah.
feel old. Mine is very tied to also the topic. So recently, which is crazy because the last time me and Jules talked about just being in the gig economy, being full time, like, yeah, creatives. I think there's a time. I mean, it's still very challenging most of the time, but we had talked about potentially leaving this world and going back into employment. So, okay, me, and I remember saying with you, Jules, like for real, if the opportunity came, I'm out.
out.
Like, deuces. So the opportunity came. Imagine, I think I prefer being on this side because I turned it down. And I remember in that moment, I was like, am I going to regret this?
Right.
But I think as much as this side is challenging, I don't know about you guys, but I really feel like my true essence is being a creative. And I don't think in corporate, you get to express that so, authentically. It's, there's deadline. I mean, of course, there's still deadlines in this world, but it's just not the space I feel. So I realized that for real, okay, this is the path I've chosen. And I think I needed to get an opportunity where I really have to choose with my whole chest that this is what I want to be doing. And it was very affirming because like walking away from a stable job is not something I thought I would ever do.
Yeah.
Having been on this side for about a year and a half. I was like, as soon as the next thing comes, I'm out. But funny enough, the thing came and I was like, no, I don't think that's what I want.
And I want to clarify, I didn't choose. It wasn't like a choice to leave employment. Like,
Yeah.
You were struggling.
I was struggling.
Yeah.
My mental health was in the pits. It had been in the pits.
Yeah.
From I remember 23, 24 is when I started. I didn't know what was going on.
What specifically were you doing?
But it's now when these conversations of mental health started, I said, "Kai, Mathan, you mean even that's
You've been struggling.
What
You've
corporate
been
job did you
struggling.
have? Am you not allowed to?
No. I've talked about it in so many places. I was in marketing, and I didn't have a problem with it, but it was the internal struggle where I was feeling like, why am I feeling so out of place? All my life, I never felt out of place. But then when I got into employment, I just couldn't believe this was it. I was like, you're joking. You're actually joking, It was just a huge gap with what I expected, what I wanted to do, and what my reality was. And that gap was gnawing at my spirit. So it wasn't a choice. We are almost like,
It's like A or B.
yes,
Yeah,
no,
it was a tough,
it was, listen, it got to a point where I remember even thinking, can I be able to, I know this sounds so stupid, but I actually thought, if worse comes to worse, I can grow food. Like I can grow food somewhere and I will have food to eat.
That's good.
Yes, that's the mentality I had. I was like, I can even open a kiosk somewhere because I know how to run a business.
Okay, that one.
So I was like, worst things worst, I know suppliers because of my networks. I can open a kiosk, and I'll have something, but I can still, that's where I had reached.
Where did you want to open it?
Anywhere.
Bora survival.
Anywhere. Yeah.
Ulikuwa
So
unakuja na kwa juice.
that's where that's where mentally I was. It
Drinking
wasn't
chocolate.
a choice at like, wow, I'm just gonna be a creative. It's hard. It was very hard. And even now, the reason I really, really applaud Murugi. Murugi, let me tell you something, You came into this space. Me, I don't know where your fearlessness comes from. I honestly think it's God-given.
You're like, it is fearless.
Yes, the way you enter a space and you're like, fine, my name is Yummy Mami, and now I've changed to Murugi Munyi, and now I am this and whatever, and we have a business now, and we are wild by Murugi, and you just go. You don't have, from where I'm standing, maybe you can tell us, there is it doesn't look like you second guess. Me, there's so many things I've wanted to do,
Yeah.
and I see you and other people doing, and I say, I wish I had this fearlessness. Mine takes time. I'm a
Right.
slow burner in those things because I have to instill self-confidence in myself.
But do you eventually get there?
Yes, eventually I do.
And then it does
eventually
so
I
well.
do. Eventually I do. And I'm always like, damn, because where I'm at in my life now, I'm always like, and I want to stop this, but I'm working on it. I start saying, like I was saying, like when you did this thing of, this is my house, this is my kitchen, I know what that feels like because that was all I ever wanted in my 20s. And now I have it in my 30s. And I start doing this thing where I'm like, I wish this was me at 26. Everything I have now, knowing what I know now, I wish it was at 26, not at 36. I wish it was at 24, not at 34. And I'm trying to stop doing that because it's taking away the gratitude of the moment. And I'm going to live in that mentality. So, yeah.
Wow.
I feel like
Yes, so that is, to what, the way Murugi you move, I adore it. I love it. I want a piece of it.
Yeah.
I don't know where you
it
got
just
it
takes
from.
a decision. Someone can just decide, me, I'm going to be brave and just do whatever I want.
Yeah.
real?
Yeah,
It's that
literally, it's
simple.
just.
But I think
also-
maybe
it
when you are
also-
young, hukukemewa sana, because you don't second
Yeah,
guess. I think
But
somebody
it
told you,
also-
yes, you
If
can
it
do
was
it.
that
it
easy.
also needs financial empowerment. So
Facts.
You,
Yeah.
right. Okay, fine. Ooh,
Like,
Yeah.
damn.
yeah.
You also need to be financially empowered to be able to have certain opinions regarding your career.
Or like the way you
Yeah.
move. So let me say one thing. As I was growing up, I saw my mom live the way I am living now. She would literally she was working for this huge NGO, and like at some point she's just like, you know what? She decided she didn't want to do this anymore, and she wants to go into something else. And then she would stop that and then go into something. Like I saw her live so many phases of her life, and I think that really fed into like literally you can, as an adult, you can do whatever you want at any point, and no one is going to beat you.
Yeah.
No one can beat you. I can just
that's the
decide.
point of being an adult.
That's
Like,
the
you
thing.
can just
Exactly.
do
I
it.
can literally do whatever
one
I
can beat
want.
you.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just that you can do whatever you want.
In-
And in my adult life, one thing I have learned, especially in the creative industries, that
Yeah.
fortune favors the brave. The
Correct.
number of, I'll say people, but mostly women who are caught living lives they don't want to live because they're just sat there, they're just afraid, they're scared of what people will say or that something might not work out. Me, when I'm thinking of something that I want to do, I never think, what if it didn't work out? Or like, what if something goes wrong? I just always think, oh my God, it could really go really well.
Right,
It could be
yeah.
amazing. Because even if things could go wrong, now thinking about it is not going to help us. I'm just like,
Yeah.
let's just go and then now we'll just see how things go there. And I've seen how that has helped me financially, emotionally, in my love life, as a parent, as a wife. And for me, the fact that I can see those benefits, that's what keeps me being fearless and confident and brave.
Yeah.
And also, having some form of like financial backing, that was definitely essential.
I was also gonna say that I think every creator has that stage where they want to go back to a corporate job.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
also
yeah.
had one as well. I did a 6 months internship in KRA.
You were the KRA people.
Lol.
I was there.
It's your
I
friends
saw
who are
everything where I didn't see
intimidating
anything. Anyway, I did a 5 years major in school. So when I went to KRA, I did my 6 months internship. That wasn't even a 9 to 5. It wasn't even an 8 to 5 because I was supposed to get there at 7 and then leave at 6:30.
Yeah.
Sometimes even at 7. So by the time those 6 months zilikuwa zinaisha, I was like, this is not the space for me.
Yeah.
It's not the space for me. And a few months after that, because they had offered me a job, but I didn't want because I wanted to pursue my creative career. I was regretting, why did I not take that KRA job? Why did I? Yeah, and at the initial stages when you're having these emotions, you feel like they're very financially
Charged.
yeah. Like you
it's
feel like I
the-
don't have money at the moment.
Yeah, or at least
and
a steady.
yeah, I need a steady
Source
income.
of income, yeah.
But then even sometimes as a creator, even when you have money, you're going through certain situations that take a toll on your mental health. You're like, I'd rather even have a corporate job. I don't know if it happens to other creators,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it happens to me.
All the time.
Because sometimes you just want to live life. Okay, I will give my personal experience. I just want to be myself. I just want to be a regular person with a family, with my brothers, hang out with my friends in a restaurant, hang out. And then, like a crowd of people just comes, like it's sometimes it can
Mama
be...
Michael, wow. Mama Michael, able to that voice.
Yeah, able to that thing.
That time someone has just broken up with you. I love
So you're like, by the way, probably you're going through like the worst heartbreak.
You're fighting for your life.
Yeah, and then someone says, "Ebu that voice, what, bro?"
Then they go and say, imagine I met this guy in real life. He's not even
even that
nice.
funny.
He's not funny.
Someone even
Creators
broke.
are just pretenders. They just think that you do.
Let me
and
tell
then
you,
when
there was a day I had a long day. I had a shoot in Kajiado.
Oh Lord.
I had driven from Nairobi from 4 a.m. Nimefika. So I am going, I had an event the following day, and it was like a bougie event. I had to wash my car. My car was super dusty. So I went to
And you have a nice car. How did you afford it as a creator?
say I have money. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Murugi and Mike Ebu.
Yeah, guys, honestly,
Are you guys working hard? Or maybe
Maybe we are not.
enough?
Maybe we are not.
working hard
Mini
enough.
God, mini
We are
God.
lazy. We are
Sijui
so
Murugi,
lazy.
but mini God.
Hey.
Anyway, I was saying I went to this car wash. I just wanted to get my car washed, and then I go home and sleep, wake up and go for the event. Then I met this person. Have you ever met this person where it's a fun, like, and I appreciate you love my work. It's good. But they're like, the other day I was showing my mom one of your clips. I'm like, that's nice. But then you're like, oh my God.
I know.
Oh my God. And even my cousin loves you. Let me call them.
A guy.
Like,
Video call.
yeah. And they're like, yeah, hey. Yeah, it's Koka wash pamoja. And then like,
Ebu mwambie kitu.
and then this guy comes on my TikTok, not one video, but like 5 videos, comments. I met this guy at a car wash. He had to madharau. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes you're just so tired. You just want to get home. You don't even want to. And you see, navigating this being an influencer and being someone who is in the public, right? As someone who appears to be outgoing, but in real life you're actually not as outgoing. It's not easy because people already have this perspective of you. You're very outgoing. You can talk. When in the contrary, you're actually the opposite.
Yeah, that's for you guys who are introverts. I think, Murugi, do you have that problem? Because I have friends who are also introverted, but once the camera comes on,
Yeah,
it's like,
definitely surprised because I've
like
seeing you now. I'm like, hiya. Oh, you're like
he's laid back.
Friends in
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
He is very
I feel like I
demure.
don't have that problem, but I have other friends like our mutual. I don't say names because I'm not gonna. But I have a creator friend who she hates going for this. All these events we are being invited for, the launch of this and these are the campaigns you're prospectively going to be on, and she doesn't like meeting fans. Not because she's a bitch. It's just that she has social anxiety. It's too much for her. But when she's in the confines of her home, she's able to do that. I don't usually have that problem.
Especially when people, especially, and unfortunately, especially women, sometimes they can be too touchy, they invade your space, because they assume, you're a man, you don't have a problem with that. Someone even hugs you, hugs you, touches your arms.
So are you telling the fans not to touch you or hug you or
Like,
touch your arm?
I don't mind, but it's just not.
That's
Maybe
the
just
snippet. That's the
okay,
snippet.
listen, I did not know this was a problem.
You could be seated at a restaurant with your and someone just hugs you. Oh my God, I love your fun. And you're like, hey, thank you.
Yeah, fun etiquette, by the way, is actually a thing. Me, I have a problem when I'm with my kids and someone tries to take a picture with my kids, because people do that sometimes. Like, oh, Mutana, let's take she's 4. Like, what do you mean take a selfie with her? That for me is like crossing a boundary. But sometimes it's just like to enforce the boundary, just be like, oh, I'm not comfortable with that. Let's make them uncomfortable. So I'm not the only one who's uncomfortable.
Now I'm with Jules. I'm also in that car. I'm also trying to teach myself how to say no, especially to fans. When someone wants to take a picture, when someone wants you to do something for them, to make a video, and to even say no to some brand deals. Yeah, because
okay, sorry. Go
sometimes
go first.
you're looking at your bank account and then you're like, this is good money. I know my worth, but at the end of the day, this is good money. I'm also teaching myself how to say no.
Yeah.
And expect better.
And what I was gonna inject into what you were saying is because the essence of this surviving gig economy is for people who are perhaps at the same stage where they're thinking of going into content creation full time, or maybe they're in content creation already. If you could share from a point of learning, like why do you feel like it's important to say no to certain brands? Like, what's the benefit if you're saying no to money? Like, what's the benefit? Like if you're saying no to one thing, what are you gaining on the other hand?
I'm gonna be very specific, like oddly specific. When an agency, this is the first time an agency is contacting you concerning a certain campaign. When you tell them 70K, and then you already signed the contract, and then in the middle of the campaign you realize, you have a conversation with someone who tells you, you're worth way more. You're worth 250. You can't go back to the same agency and tell them, I can't do for the next campaign now, because they can't pay you 70 for this, and then you tell them, this time let's work with 250. You get? Yeah, like that's almost more than triple.
Yeah.
From the beginning, it's also good to do like, and I'm appreciating the new crop of creators who they're doing their research. The new creators, they're doing their research. They're even calling you and DMing you. And I don't mind assisting. They're even DMing you and telling you, I have this brand that's reaching out to me. They want to give me X amount of money for this campaign. What do you think about
yes,
this?
Yes,
Yeah.
Sisi, we did have.
Yes, and I would like to encourage that. I'm sorry to just jump in. I would love to encourage that. Even us it would be good. Listen, you can't avoid undercutting in any industry.
Space, yeah.
It's there. But where influencers and creators go at a loss is when they don't talk to each other and therefore don't know how to benchmark. And the people who benefit are the people who are giving, who are undercut, who are, not even the middleman, but
the corporates themselves,
the corporates
or the
themselves,
agencies.
because
The agencies
they're like, this
more
babe
than
yet doesn't know
corporates.
her
Yeah.
worth. This guy doesn't know his worth yet. You should be getting 200K for this thing, but you've quoted for 70,000. I'm not going to come and tell you, quote 200, because it'll save my business some money. You understand? But what is happening is that there's such a fear, let me call it a scarcity mentality. There's such a fear of losing out or not being a part of this, because I've been in a room where somebody has used my name as bait and said, or rather, somebody told me that this is what was said. Jules is in this campaign and she hasn't complained.
Yeah, exactly.
Jules hasn't done this. And
Agencies
I'm like,
do that.
yes.
A lot.
And I'm like, no, I actually did complain.
Wow.
I don't agree to the terms in this contract. I don't want to have a contract with perpetuity clauses. And I did push back and give some resistance. But now they'll use your name, to get somebody else to concede.
Yeah.
And the more we talk to each other, not to cause chaos or disrupt, it's genuinely just to get what we are worth. It's an ethical thing. Then it's better for all the creators. I don't have to tell you how much I earn, but I can tell you if I don't want. But me, I can. There are people who will be like, I think I've called you, or who have I called? And I'm like, no, me, I'm getting this amount. Me, I'm getting this amount.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, fine. Then this brand can pay, because sometimes they say, oh, we don't want to pay. We don't have the budget. They have the budget. They're just choosing not to pay it to you. And if that's the case, it's okay to walk away from that brand.
It's okay to say no.
It's okay to say no, and it might. I've come to see it will feel like, oh, now you won't get any other job, or because what these people try to do is to make you feel like you're being problematic by genuinely trying to ask for what you're worth. Because especially if you're with brands that you've been with for a long time, sometimes when you're trying to, okay, we've been paying this for the past year. My numbers have grown by 30K, 40K. I have exceeded expectations in all my KPIs. Can we now negotiate for new numbers?
Yeah.
They might try to make you feel like you're being problematic, but I think it's very important to learn the language, this corporate language.
Yeah.
And you do that by talking to other creators who have been in these spaces. How do you negotiate? And even the people who are in those spaces, those agencies, talk to them and say, listen, please help me negotiate for this. Because right now I'm struggling. My cost of production has tripled. The quality of production nowadays, back in the day when I started, my friend, all I needed was this, an acute angle, and I'll be like, da-da-da. Now, you sit in influencer briefings and you hear something like, we don't want lazy content, we don't want this. Yet sometimes that lazy content that they are calling, which has low production, is the one that is getting the highest numbers, the one that goes viral.
That's true.
This one where you have gotten location, makeup, whatever, might be harder to get. You just never know what's going to blow up, is what I'm going to say.
Do people actually realize what goes on? Like, people are watching this podcast, RIP, but they don't know they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
That's your cross to
behind the
carry.
scenes.
I ain't gonna
There are lights, there are so many cameras. Kuna sound
Like what it
production
took to
hapa.
just
Right.
like make today happen.
I
Yeah,
know.
and a client will come,
stressed.
awambie, Jules, Sharon,
Our budget is 100,000.
you know, we have 60K. What can you do for us with
And
that, man?
Beryl herself is, we have to pay her.
Yeah.
We have to pay her.
Just for the
Yeah.
lunch, it's the 60K.
and
Now
you
we're
people
done.
are
For
eating
lunch.
microburger.
No,
And even
pastries.
and now as an influencer, you have a videographer, you have an
Hey.
editor, you have a manager,
God.
you have a PA. Sometimes you
Right.
have someone who is writing
Social
the script for you.
media.
Social media manager. I
Social
can't even
media
afford
manager.
a PA and a social media manager, and I want to have both.
So sorry.
And you're
Because
and
you
as a
have
creative,
both.
you're feeling bad for paying one person to manage your socials
Right.
and to also
doing
be a PA.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know.
You people have people who manage socials. How
You don't?
lovely. No, I don't.
I mean, it's crazy.
Okay,
'cause
how we
like,
do for TMI. So I
Yeah.
guess that one is, yeah. But on that point that you've made, I would say two things, especially to upcoming creators, is one, you can charge separately for production. A lot of people do that, and I also do that sometimes, where like the client requires that
That's
it's shot a certain way,
Got it.
requires that it's like professionally
So
shot.
you never fall into the pressure of it has to be highly
No,
produced?
I don't. Because you
Okay.
see, for me also, if now they get you, they force you to do the highly produced one and it doesn't perform as well, you'll still be the one on the chopping block for producing a video that didn't get over 300,000 views.
You know,
So
that's
either way, you see, either way now you're losing. So me, I will just prefer, and usually you can read the energy of clients before you sign contracts.
Yeah.
You can read the energy.
You
I
can
need
know
you.
can know that this campaign is gonna be problematic.
It's going to be problematic.
or
I need
not.
already for you
Yeah.
guys to just trust me, because the reason you've come to me is because I know how to interact with my audience. I know the video that's going to perform well. I know the video that's not going to, and I don't want to be prescribed for and told it has to be shot with a camera.
Like
I can't do that.
I know my page well.
That's the thing,
Right,
yes.
like it's
I
your
know how my
community.
content performs.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
for a client to come and tell me, I feel like that character, you would have introduced her in minute 1.
No
30
way, they,
sec-
they,
Just
they,
explain
get,
it.
they
You
get
clients
into
can
the
say that,
nitty-gritty.
yeah. Put the
That's
product in the first
interesting.
15 seconds. I'm
Yeah.
like,
How?
if I put the product in the first 15
We've
seconds,
lost the plot.
yeah, the video
People
is
have
gonna
already
be.
swiped out.
Sometimes you just
exactly.
give the client what they want.
Yeah.
And then you tell them, I just tell them, this video is gonna do so poorly. But yeah.
Me,
yeah.
that now I make a decision about whether or not I'm going to work with that client again.
You know what this has reminded me of? When we are negotiating for, you said something like you're able to walk away from.
Oh yeah, that was going to be my next point, is you
Yeah.
have to be willing to walk away from the table. And a lot of creators are not willing to walk away from the table.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
me, I also recognize I'm saying this from a point of privilege, because I just feel like I've been in the industry longer, and I feel like I have no problem, because there are so
Yeah.
many campaigns to be
And,
done.
and that's okay,
Yeah, and-
because as I was saying, like it's nice to share from a point of what you've learned. is that
Exactly.
it's worth walking away from.
Actually,
Yeah,
brands.
it
actually
is.
not knowing your worth and having that scarcity mentality.
Mentality.
Even as sorry, sound guy,
gonga
he made
yote.
it clear I should not touch the microphone, and I finally touched it.
Angusha.
It actually makes your work even worse, because you're getting so little for so much work, Because what did I want to say? Ata?
Can I jump in?
That point sounded like it was going to be hot.
Hot.
But now it's
It
gone.
was gonna be
Has it been
hard.
like,
Disappeared forever.
I don't say anything cold, but anyway.
Can I just jump in?
yeah,
though?
you can.
I want to say a lot of people in marketing may not necessarily understand marketing, and they don't understand influencer marketing versus traditional marketing. What I mean is how a TVC is produced versus how a reel by an influencer is produced. A TVC is created if there's humans in that TVC. These are models, these are paid actors, and they have a role, husband, wife, That sometimes they bring that
Sounds like a video.
paradigm. Sometimes they bring that paradigm into the influencer space, and it shouldn't be that way. When you're saying something like, "Oh, this has to," the brand has to appear in the first 5 seconds of the video, this has to happen. Sometimes I think the plot is missed, because yes, in TVC it has to be that way, because attention is different for
the time is kidogo.
time is different. But you have to understand, when you're talking about influencer marketing, when somebody is watching something that I have created, I'm not just a model who they don't know. It's the reason there's a high consideration for somebody to use this brand that I'm promoting is because they have bought into the brand that is Julia before they have bought into your brand. It's not the same for the actor in the TVC. And that is what people are paying for. That is what that is what the organizations are paying for, the corporates are paying for. Because the most powerful tool of marketing, what no matter how the landscape shifts, it is always going to be word of mouth. Use this. Imagine it worked amazing for me. You will believe it more than watching this other person. And that is why influencer marketing is so powerful, is because it's a form of word of mouth. I am endorsing this, okay? But sometimes you find companies or the people who are working in those companies, they don't understand what they are paying for. What they are paying for is that. And so when they're trying to push the agenda of the brand before the agenda of believability of the brand that is the influencer, then they lose the plot.
Yeah.
You understand? So actually, this is actually a message to corporates. Creative freedom for influencers is very different from what you're paying for in the creatives for creating the TVC.
Yeah.
You know, it has to be believable to a brand. And now our audiences are continuing to get more and more sophisticated. They do not want to be advertised to. Back in the day, when you create a brand reel, guys are like, oh, congrats. This is so dope.
Wow. Yeah.
Now they are
What are you
commending
selling
you.
to us today?
Yes.
And
Now
someone
they are
just like-
commending you because you are not being too selly.
Yeah.
Yet your agency or brand manager is here telling you you must be there in the first 5 seconds. And sometimes it's okay to push back and say, please allow me to get them to, let me win them over with the 5 seconds with something else. So by the time the brand is coming in, I can. They already know they're being advertised to, but it's palatable. They're not switched off.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's where there can be a gap with brands, because they bring the mentality of traditional media into digital media.
Yeah.
It's a different landscape.
In view of that, you'll find that some clients or some agencies, they're expecting sales from your video. But I believe the core mandate or the core goal of influencer marketing is visibility and brand awareness, not sales.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Not
I
sales.
challenge
Like,
that, but okay.
I would say it
it's
depends on the
awareness.
campaign.
It depends on the campaign.
And also,
that's why
yeah.
I don't do campaigns that require me to push a referral code or get a
Yes,
commission.
because they don't do that to Capital FM. They do not tell KTN for me to pay you.
Yeah.
It depends on
Do
how many
10
people
sales.
will
Do
buy.
100 sales,
Sometimes
yeah.
I actually have to say, no, I'm a mouthpiece for you.
Yeah.
I am a mouthpiece, and I'm here to create that. Yes, it should convert to sales, but
It should, yeah.
when you're paying for the space on Magnet, do you tell Magnet, I will pay you for this billboard depending on how many people will come and buy because of this billboard?
And you know, some agencies-
because there are some elements and very powerful elements in marketing that are intangible, okay?
Yeah.
And sometimes, do you know how many times people come to me after a campaign to say,
Years even.
By the way, that day there was one event for Nice and Lovely. And there's a day you did and I was like, what? That was like my first month as an
Oh my
influencer.
gosh,
Ati, what was
yes.
that? Whatever. And are you going to pay me for that? And so sometimes I'm like, you have to pay me because I'm not the model. What I'm trying to say, the reason you should be paying me more is because I am attached to this brand more than the TVC is. You as a brand can leave me and say, deuces, we don't like you, you're pushing too much for your agenda or whatever. They drop you for whatever reason. The competitor brand cannot come and touch you even for the next 6 months to a year because they say, you're a Gordon's person. Everyone sees me and sees Gordon's. I'm happy about that. I have a great relationship with them. But in the event that Gordon's decides to drop me, I can't go now start talking to another brand, even if I'm no longer with them, because my audience is attached to me in that brand, and no one is paying me for that time, which is actually what I would love us to talk about, which is exclusivity. Exclusivity means, okay, this happens a lot in markets abroad. I don't know why they're not doing it in Kenya. So exclusivity generally means a brand pays you more for not talking about any other brand that is a competitor to them. So if I'm doing I'm a makeup influencer, and I'm working for MAC, I can't ever talk about Maybelline. But then when I look at people like Jackie Aina, and this is before even she became as big as she is now, before she met Rihanna. Not that she became big after meeting Rihanna, but before she had now access to the celebs. I used to follow her back in the day, and you can see she's doing a promo for like give me a brand.
Revlon,
L'Oreal.
okay.
L'Oreal foundation, they have a great shade, but she'll still pick up a brush that is MAC, and she'll still pick up a setting spray that is Maybelline. But the brand that she's promoting in that video is this, and she's talking about how amazing it has been on her skin because she has not been paid for exclusivity. The reason I say we need to be paid for exclusivity is because the day the brand drops you, there's going to be a long period of time before you can work with a competitor brand, even if they want to work with you, because they, you understand? Like there's an opportunity cost. So is it called an opportunity cost that goes, and that's why I'd like us to get into a place in this market where, as creators, we are actually being paid for our value. One, the value that we are worth, the impact that we are giving, the power of word of mouth, and two, we are being paid for exclusivity.
But also, I would say, as someone who's been on the corporate brand side onboarding influencers, I think also just the market doesn't have a lot, like it's not the market doesn't have a lot of budget for influencer marketing. Because like when I just was in Dubai the other day and I was talking to some of the influencers there, and they're able to sell, and you know how here, if you want to get like, I don't know, I'll just throw a number in the air, but like $1,000 for a campaign, your deliverables, depending on who you are so much. There, like, that's minimum for one Insta story. Minimum. Like, that's the industry standard of, like, you know, posting something on Insta story. But it's because the brands there have moved away from traditional advertising.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of money to spend on influencers. So influencers can ask for that kind of money.
Okay.
But I think here, and maybe that's why people are also giving so many deliverables, undercutting each other, because there's not a lot of money from the corporates just yet. Like, I don't think it's as much as maybe...
Oh, so you think the budgets are just not there?
In comparison to, like, America and these places you've talked about, there's definitely money here. Like, I've seen people and paid people quite a lot of money for certain campaigns, but it's just not as much. It's hard to compare with, like, America and, you know, the West, or even Dubai and these places.
I think
brands there are just not even advertising that much.
The influencer economy in those countries are quite big.
Yeah,
when you compare
can...
it to... Because personally, I started charging for exclusivity just the other day. But I support exclusivity as a personal... It's like my brand. It's like a value of my... It's a brand value. Because I can't push a bank for 2 years.
Or to,
and
like,
then a year later
authentic,
or a few months later, I push another bank. Or I push a certain supermarket for almost my whole life as an influencer. My whole career as an influencer, I mean. And then in the next few months after, I pushed another.
You're now working with someone else.
But if it works out, if the brand is like, yeah, we'll pay you for exclusivity, that's good.
Yeah.
If they don't, they pay me for the period of time that the campaign is lasting, that's also good. But if I also get like the same brand, a year or a few years later, I'm going to contemplate on taking it or not. Yeah.
Okay.
One thing that I feel like, as I listen to you guys speaking, is I feel like clearly creators experience the creative economy very differently. Very, very, very differently. Because my experience has been a bit different, I guess, from what you guys are describing. One, I do charge for exclusivity, and brands are always willing to pay the ones who are
it over and above
over and
rate
above.
cards?
Yes, over and above. So it's like I have a rate which is like, let's say,
But it's
100,000
like
for
the
a
big
reel.
brands.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like that amount for a reel, and then there's like, if you want it to be exclusive, there's this
What does
amount.
exclusivity mean to you? What exactly are you charging?
So exclusivity to me means, let's say there's a brand that I'm working with right now, which is like a big skincare retail store. And they are paying exclusivity, which basically means that I won't talk about getting any skincare from any other place.
The Korean place?
Exactly, yeah. So I'm not going to speak about getting my skincare from anywhere else, and that's what exclusivity is.
Is it a one-off payment or a per
No,
reel
it's
payment?
a perpetual. It's like on top, because it's like a 6-month, 1 year long campaign or like contract. So it's just like it's added on top of like for every single month. So there's like a rate for like, this is for if it's exclusive, this is for if it's not exclusive.
Right.
And from my experience, a lot of brands are actually willing to pay, and brands have money.
Brands have
That's what
money.
I wanted
Let me
to
tell
say.
you something. First, from my
brands have
experience,
money.
You
Let me tell
misunderstood
you.
me. I said in comparison.
Okay,
In comparison, yes.
Yeah.
In
comparison, for
in
sure.
comparison,
In
yes. Because
comparison.
even when you look at
Yeah.
advertising space, the
Yeah.
amount of money you to give people what we mean, what Sharon is trying to say.
Yeah.
So I support what you're trying to say in the sense that, in fact, it's a YouTube thing. The reason why YouTube in Kenya, you'll get this amount of money for the same number of views
yeah.
versus a person in the US is because of the economy.
Yeah.
And the explanation that one of the YouTube people from Google
The
told me
experts,
is, if you look at how much it costs to pay for an ad,
Yeah,
a
the
one-page
ad
ad
spend.
in the newspaper in Nairobi, in
Versus-
Daily Nation versus the New York Times, that should give you an inkling of that the reason why a creator will be paid this amount in this
Yeah.
economy, in that economy. I get that.
Yeah.
But when why I'm supporting Murugi in saying that brands have money, it's because they know
The
that these people
value.
are worth more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
understand that the eyeballs are moving from traditional media
Yeah,
to
yeah.
digital media,
Yeah.
and that is why they are here.
Yeah.
But because it's still a new space, and people are not atujamka bado. Even me as a business owner, my goodness, I will not go and tell a creator, make sure you charge two times that. I'll say, if this is your rate, I
Yeah,
will pay you
so
what
why
you
not?
you
What you
understand.
ask for,
Business
yeah.
is business.
I've had a brand do that, by the way.
Come and
before.
tell you-
Come and tell me. A marketing manager for it was like an international campaign, and like I gave my rate, and she was just like, she actually DM'd me on the side, and she was like, "You're really undercharging, and people are
Wow.
charging in dollars."
That's a
So
dope babe.
Murugi,
Yes.
that was
Wow.
a fan. That was a fan.
Yeah, probably she was a
She's a
fan.
fan.
Babe.
Yeah, because now I doubled. I even changed into dollars and whatever. And she's like, "Yeah, okay, fine. This one now is making sense," kind of thing. So sometimes God is on your side, and like you're
Yeah.
able to charge more. But yeah, companies
Have
definitely do have
money.
money, and I feel like in Africa it's like definitely growing more than. I mean, it's growing really, really fast. Yeah, I
but
would
the
say it's
money is-
growing really fast, and the
yeah.
money is coming slowly by slowly. But again, many creators are not willing to walk away from the table.
That's
They'll
the
come and say,
thing.
"This I'm charging 100,000." They'll be like, "Oh, as we only have 30,000." They'll be like, "Okay, sawa, you
Give
can
me that
send.
30,000.
You can send."
The reason
Yeah.
I'm also supporting that brands have money is because even before initiating the conversation with you to have you on board on a specific campaign,
Yeah.
they already know what kind of value you're bringing on the
Exactly.
table. They already know what you're worth. Plus, also from a personal experience, I've had an agency call me and tell me, "Oh yeah, we have a client who has this X amount of money. Let's say 50K, who has 50K, and they want you to give X amount of videos." I was like, that won't work because I charge X amount for one video. And then they're like, your rates are too high.
Yeah.
Sijui. And then they call me like 2 days after. Check your email for the contract. I'm like, contract? And then I see the contract. It's the
Exactly.
money I had said.
Irony.
Yeah, so some of these agencies, and I'm gonna talk about agencies. Agencies will really.
Why
take
do people
advantage.
hate agencies so much?
Agency-
You're not the first person.
Yeah.
Agency
They are
will-
part of the.
agencies
They are
will
part
really-
of the. They are part of the ecosystem.
Yeah, I think it's understanding the role that they play. Like in my view,
I feel like agencies
I
are
think-
very important.
Yeah,
If you are dealing
100%,
directly
but
with brands,
I think sometimes creators.
I've actually-
Sometimes, in my view, creators believe agencies are on their side. I think in the structure advertising, the agency is on the side of the client. So they will never represent your interest. Nowadays, there's new agencies that
That are
are
trying to
creator
say,
facing. They're trying to be, because I think we're seeing that trends are different nowadays, that the creators are the ones with the power, with the leverage. So you're seeing agencies coming up that are more creator facing in terms of negotiating. But for the most part, they are representing the client. Like I remember when I was working with an agency representing Google, they're the ones responsible of letting us know and making sure we say we have this budget. I don't know if I can share this thing. We have this budget, but it's up to the agency to make sure that we get X amount of influencers at X amount of money. Those ones who don't want, too bad for you.
But sometimes
And
some agencies are trying to undercut, like maybe
exactly,
Yeah.
and take more of the client's
Exactly,
money
yeah.
and then give whatever is left to this. So that's why I feel like I
That's the
agree with you
problem.
that agencies might not always be working in the interest of the creator, but I really wanted us to kind of, because we have a few minutes left, to move slightly away from
the business side
the
of
business
things.
side of
Okay,
things and go into what we called at the end of the day, we're in a space where we're technically competing for, as we've said, a very limited, or it seems limited, amount of resources. But we also have to collaborate. We also have to call each other and say, how much have you been paid? Da, 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 da. How are we balancing that thing of being in competition with one another, but needing to be friendly with one another? And can you really be friends with people you are competing with? Like, how are you guys navigating
Can I
that
answer
side
the question
of
with
things?
a question?
Yes.
Do you feel like the influencer space in Kenya has cliques?
Yeah. Of course, like
It has
naturally.
cliques.
Does it?
Really?
Me, I don't
Guys,
know.
let's be honest. It does, but
But
cliques
But I'm being honest.
clique in
in
the
what
sense
sense?
that
Which clique?
Like there are certain
Me, I
people
think there's
you
cliques.
hang out. Okay,
Say for example, say my true.
like kama wewe na akina I'm joking.
Sema, mimi na
like
kina
jail.
nani? Who is my clique?
Jail.
Who is my clique?
You are part of my clique.
Oh, okay.
Ama mimi si wa clique yako.
I mean, I think maybe we're all in the same clique.
No, I'm just asking. It was a question that was asked in an influencer.
So why I
event.
very strongly said yes is because I think clicking. Okay, I don't know if you meant it in a negative way, but I just think people who do similar content gravitate towards one another.
Yeah.
People who've had a similar background or experience will gravitate towards one another, and so for me, I view those as cliques, right? It's not cliquey like.
You can't
You
see
can't
that.
sit with us, yeah.
Me, the cliques that I see is like TikTokers definitely feel like TikTokers are like a group on their own.
Oh,
And then the people who are big on X, it feels like they are like now, you know,
No,
where
that's
they
what,
can
that's what,
actually.
that
They're
what
Instagram,
happens. Yeah.
you know,
That's
and then
how-
on
that's
Instagram
how-
there's
And
like
let me tell you,
momfluencers,
the
then
funny
there's
thing
the
is-
hair,
That's how I
natural
see
hair
atmosphere-
people.
exactly.
the
What was
atmosphere is
fitness?
different.
Like there's definitely cliques, guys.
The atmosphere is different in every clique because there's the
Yeah.
way
For sure.
ex-influencers behave.
Yeah.
There's the way TikTokers behave. There's the way influencers on
YouTubers.
IG behave. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was
Yeah,
asking,
okay.
but that conversation we were having about, you know, like you as a new creator asking another creator about, you know, a certain budget. There are creators who would rather die.
Than tell
Then,
you.
Than tell you.
yeah. And
There's
the
a
others
cli-
would rather die than ask.
I think
also, who
people
wouldn't
in
even
similar
ask.
cliques will easily share that information.
Yeah.
But I think when you're now trying to cross-click information, I would think it's
Or
a
when
bit
you're trying
harder.
to, you're very new and you're
New.
not even in any clique. That's what can be really
let
difficult.
me
I guess.
let me just tell you guys, any event that has influencers only, me wasijibambi. I feel like those events are so dead.
Really? How so?
Because everyone is in their own
Yeah,
Wild
it feels, everything feels so.
acted, theatrical, inauthentic.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on Instagram.
I felt that thing. I get what you're saying. Like you feel like you're in
usually
Insta story.
I don't even go for most of the launches or for because I feel like most events with like influencers and creators only.
Yeah.
Those events are so
I feel
dead.
like it's so important
I
to
think
go
for me
for
it's
them.
awkward. For
Same.
me it's awkward like
Same.
if I don't
Go.
know you.
Oh, really?
But you're looking at me. That's the worst.
Okay,
Because
what
you're
do
like
you
you
mean?
might be
Like
bigger,
someone
even, maybe
knows
you're even
you,
bigger
but
than
they don't know that they are creator or
yes,
what
or
their
maybe they're
page is
even
or
bigger,
whatever.
and maybe they're even bigger than you. You know,
Yeah.
and you generally you're just not
In
their
their-
target audience and vice versa. And so I find those. That's why I just sit at the back and I
Yeah.
wait for somebody to say hi because I don't want to be like. Anyway, I don't know.
Let me
But
ask
I've
you
never really
awkward.
thought much into it. And I've never been to a big influencer event. The most
Yeah.
I've done is like, you know, when they call all the influencers in a certain
Of a
campaign.
certain brand,
Yeah,
yeah.
to go for a briefing. That's it.
There are
But I've
events-
never noticed this thing you're saying, the cliques and the whatever. And the, I mean, the
the cliques
atmosphere.
are inevitable. There
I
has
think
to
they're
be. There has
yeah.
to be
It's
cliques.
just
You
grouping.
talked about collaborations, yeah. Me, I have issues with collaborations because I don't even do like so much collaborations because I feel like every single time I do a collaboration, I don't give it my all. 'Cause let me explain it.
Literally, your most immediate former collaboration.
I'm like,
is here.
What
but,
do you-
but that one was different. That one was different because I had to be me.
We should
I had
set this
to
one
be
out.
me.
Yeah.
That one was
I
different.
I did not want him to come as Wamaiko, Mama Maiko.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted him to come
And that's why I loved it.
as
Mike.
Mike.
Myself, yeah.
And I wanted him
Namli,
to
watch
act
your
as my
video.
husband.
No, yeah, it was so good. We were looking good.
We were looking good.
Period. But then when I have to get in character,
I mean, just
when I
saying.
have to get in character in a collab video, do you know we lived with my brother for 5 years, and every time I have shot my videos while living with him, he's never seen me in character.
Oh,
No one in the
really?
house has
No way.
actually ever seen me like in character. Yeah.
You never get someone to help you shoot the video
Yeah, like you-
or something
I
like that.
started
Hebu
getting
nishikie.
comfortable late last year when I had to hire a whole production team. When I had to get a videographer, an editor, a script writer, and then just
Interesting.
making peace with the fact that they're gonna be there while I do my voice.
But it's
And while
not
I
the
do-
same. But it can't be the
It's
same.
not. It
I
took
know
some
what you
time.
mean. It's
It
just,
took some time,
Yeah.
but now you're meeting another creator, and then they have like 11, 15 production
Yes,
team. Yeah.
Edward.
And
And
you have to be, Wamaiko.
I think I
Yeah.
feel like yours is unique because a lot of your content is like you have to be in a certain character. For like me, who's just like it's just my life
You-
is
you
just
are
the
your
content.
character,
Then
yeah.
exactly, so I don't ever feel like I'm acting as such. To your point on competition, I feel like I would say, I guess it depends on where you are in the industry or in your creator journey. I feel like for me, where I've reached, I never feel like I'm in competition with anyone because my bag is secure.
Because
Like,
you're
they are
at the
just-
top,
Yeah.
baby.
So I just know that
There's nobody to compete with at the top.
No, I feel like there's still competition.
Hey,
But I
Murugi.
feel like, I don't know, I always feel
Murugi,
like...
I love you. I just want to be you.
But I
wanna
don't
eat
feel-
what you eat for
But
breakfast.
I always just feel like they are so, like when you think of how many brands
There are so
there
many
are in the
opportunities,
world,
yeah.
how many opportunities, how much money there is. I think sometimes we limit ourselves, or even thinking that, for example, that the gig economy is like a gig to gig thing. There are people who are making millions, tens
Yeah.
of millions per month. Like, it's like people are not living gig to gig. People are living extremely comfortably, buying cars and houses and whatever. And I think
In
as soon
Kenya,
as
okay,
in
but
Kenya,
not the big. I mean, not the ones who are also comedians and
But you
actors.
see,
I mean,
if-
influencers.
Okay, Jules.
influencers, yeah. Me, I'm an influencer. Am I not?
No,
What
but-
else?
You.
No, my biggest bag is influencing, by the way. My biggest bag is influencing.
But
And
babe,
so-
you can take risks. I'm gonna say it. You can take risks because you have a rich husband.
no, I only took that first risk. The only risk I took because of my husband is quitting my job to become an influencer. And that one, it was like, I had one gig that month, and I remember it was Junction Mall. They paid me 100K, and I was like, wow,
There's
I
hope.
can get 100K just from posting a post and stories. And when I quit, I was like, okay, fine, let me see if I keep getting gigs. And from that month, there has never been a month since, that was December 2020. What year are we in? 2018. There's
Right.
never been a month that I
So-
haven't had a client.
To be fair, even me, there
Yeah.
hasn't been a month where I haven't.
So do you think, babe, do you think you are an anomaly, or you think lots of people can get to where you are? Like, do you think it's...
I think
in
lots
your
of people
mind?
can get to where I am.
Okay,
I
yeah.
definitely think so. I think maybe it's like the rate at which I grew, and now even like the size to which my platform has grown and the amount of money I'm able to make from my platform,
Yeah.
I don't think it's something which is like out of the ordinary that people can't do it. If people
Okay.
would, again, get over their, like, let's say anxiety,
Analysis,
paralysis,
paralysis.
if people just did more things, and if
Yeah.
people were just more brave and just were able to just be like, no, me, I'm not taking that amount of money, I want this amount of money, kind of thing. I definitely think it's possible for a lot of people. And I wish more people knew how much money there was to be made on the internet, because sometimes these brands will always want you guys to feel like they're doing you a favor by having you on the campaign, or like you've asked for this so much money, whatever. But it's because they know you're not going to turn down 200K, even though they had budgeted 600 for you. But because you just gave the 200 and they're like, oh, this is how much we
Why
have, and they
not?
know you're not going anywhere. That's how you don't end up growing. You just have to be willing to just walk away. I feel like if more people did that, a lot more people would be billionaires. Millionaires
remember
and
my
billionaires
point
on this
ile
platform.
ilienda?
Gani?
It's come back.
Imerudi sasa.
Ndio hiyo umeisema.
Leta sasa.
Ushaisema.
But I
But
definitely think it's possible. I definitely think it's
And what are your
possible.
thoughts?
I've never felt like I'm in a competition because I always know there's an opportunity for me.
Yeah.
It's a mind. Okay,
The
for me,
scarcity mindset.
it's a mind thing. It's a
Right.
mind thing.
Right.
I've wired my mind to think that every month I know I'm gonna get another
That's
client.
amazing.
Yeah.
And 3 and 4 and 5
Yeah, and
six.
sometimes
They are
sometimes
turning them
it's
down.
even too much. You can't even answer your mail.
That's so dope.
Yeah, sometimes it's and it gets you to a place where now you're now comfortable to say no to a specific client because that budget is crappy. You get? Yeah, and I think it never feels. The only thing I felt is seeing an influencer on a certain campaign yenye hawakufika bei. And a quotation that I sent that the client told me, that was too high, and then you see another influencer doing the same campaign.
Doing the same campaign.
Yeah, you definitely feel some type of way.
Yeah.
But maybe they are paying that one more. Maybe when they say,
More
oh,
or
we
less.
don't have the budget,
Okay.
they just mean they don't have that budget for you.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
there's a difference. There's a campaign that we were supposed to be on with how do I say this without now outing who he is? But basically, he's like a sports personality. And so the client made it very clear when they came that the bulk of their budget has gone towards this sports personality because they really wanted him on the campaign. So I knew he was getting a lot. And that mine, even if they say they don't have budget, then mean they don't have money. They just don't have that budget for me specifically. So sometimes they're willing to spend that amount of money for this person, but not necessarily for this other person.
Let me tell you, my moment, the moment that really changed my life as an influencer was a time last year. I was in a campaign, and then the guys from the agency, one of them sent an Excel sheet in the group by mistake.
Uh-oh.
And then we saw
Just say which is the campaign.
we saw how much each and every influencer was getting. Let me tell you.
Okay.
Let me tell you.
Okay, what was the range? What was the range from how much to how much?
I saw an influencer getting paid 650,000 shillings.
What were the deliverables?
Just regular videos, reels. And I was like,
650 is the one earning a lot.
yeah.
Murugi, I want your
I'm
life.
going to
I want to
actually
understand.
quit this industry.
But also,
She
it depends
said
on the
650 is a lot.
deliverables.
That's a little bit.
Plus, I was like, I saw.
Average.
But
I saw-
650 for one reel.
Not for one reel, but for like maybe 650 can be like for a month. Maybe you can have like a reel.
I saw the Excel sheet. I was like,
stories.
no,
Girl, I don't know how
no.
you're... Wow.
I went to the page of the
Babe,
creator.
Well done.
I went to the page of the creator who was getting the highest. I looked at their numbers and my numbers. I was like, apa difference ni nini sasa?
But did you look at their
what's their
conversion,
engagement?
their engagement
Fair.
and conversion?
Engagement.
Yeah.
Murugi has very high engagement.
Conversion, engagement. You see,
Okay,
those are
Those are things you have to think about.
Exactly.
Sharon, are we coming to the end, or should
Oh,
I? Because I
very
really
rarely.
I would like us to.
he
There's
said 30
something you
minutes
had.
like an hour ago.
Yes,
So
there's something that I'd like us to at least do this.
Yes.
Each of us to just say at least one thing, knowing what we know now, what, that we wish we knew then, starting out, because that can help a lot of creators who are starting out. I can start
Okay.
because I thought about it. Something I wish I knew was perpetuity clauses, image and likeness. So there are some agencies, especially the big ones, they don't want to negotiate on contracts at all. It's very unfair, but it's the way they are. Or maybe they'll negotiate with the bigger creators who they really want on the campaign. Perpetuity clauses basically means they can use your image and likeness forever and ever without paying you. So even after you finish the campaign 2 years later, you'll still find them republishing, repurposing, re-editing, cutting up that reel, and using and maybe at that time you've become bigger than you were when you started. Maybe when you had 10K followers, now you have 850K, but they can still use you. And that's something I wish I knew that. And to invest in now a legal person.
Yeah.
Because when I first started, I was feeling like I don't have money to invest in a lawyer, it's too much. But now I don't.
It's important.
I don't mess
It's
around with
important.
that. When I get a contract, I'll skim through it, but at the same time, I'm sharing it with my lawyer. And I tell him, please look out for this, and this. The perpetuity clauses, the intellectual property. Intellectual property means your image and likeness. It can only be used for the period of the campaign on your page for the video you are using. Not that they can take it out, edit it, chop it up, and mix it with Mike's video and Murugi's video and create their own reel, and then they promote it and sponsor it. You know, there are businesses that try to do that because they're trying to stretch their dollar. So I wish from the beginning I invested in a lawyer. Please do get somebody to read your
the contract.
the contracts and to fight for your rights.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
I think I would also say those are good points. Those are really, really good points. At some point, I'll give a story, Banamaliza. At some point, I had someone, I don't want to directly say how the situation was, but someone used to download my content and then share them in another form. And then this person got so many followers from doing that. So he based his whole entire public social media platform on that. And then he started getting money out of it. He started commercializing it without even my idea. That's when now I knew the importance of investing in a legal, in a lawyer. But yeah, I would say one of the things I've also learned is not to be rigid. You know, I know my worth. I know I'm supposed to be paid that 650
and more.
The day I will be paid 650K for a month.
Yeah, but if a client comes and tells me and gives me,
I can be paid
I think you
650.
can, Jules. Yeah.
You absolutely,
absolutely.
that's baffling to me.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Jules, you definitely can.
Because if I can, then I can buy my new car. Oh my God. I can buy a car like Murugi. Amen.
We need to look at your
Amen.
rate card. We need
Amen.
to look at
Amen.
your rate card after this.
650.
We need to talk.
I think Jules will definitely
When I'm
can.
undercharging
You're
myself.
probably
and no one has
undercharging.
told me I need to charge in dollars and the same
exactly.
thing. Oh my God. Jesus is Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Prosperity.
Anyway,
This year.
anyway.
Blessing.
I was saying I'm also learning I've learned not to be rigid, because sometimes the client can have genuine reasons why they have 500, not 650. They can also explain why you're best suitable for this campaign. Sometimes they lie. They tell you, the next time the budget will be better.
There's
But
no
some
next
of
time.
them are
They
genuine.
never ever come back and say.
Yeah.
There's no client that has ever said this time we only have 70, but next time, and then next time. They
Imagine
pay.
I've had, but it's a returning client.
Mine stayed at that 70K.
It's a returning client.
In fact, last year, this is something of last year anyway.
Yeah. So plus also,
Wow.
don't really compare yourself to other creators, because your
Exactly.
journey is your journey. Because I remember when I was starting up, when I took a break, because I was a content creator, then I took a whole year break because of school and everything. And then when I came back, I found other creators who were doing something similar. But now they had like better engagement. They were doing brand deals. I wasn't doing any brand deals then. And that really demotivated me so badly. So because I kept comparing myself with those people. Why am I not getting these gigs that these guys are getting? Until I realized, it's my journey, and it will unfold the way it should be in just a matter of time. Yeah, so give yourself some time. Yeah, and you will break through. Yeah.
I like that.
Love that. Something I wish I knew at the beginning is that being known is such a commitment. And when you're known by so many people, you can never go back to the time when you are not known by people.
You start living a different life.
Yeah,
so true.
and sometimes just like you wish you could go back to just like, I didn't know how nice it was to not be known by people. But now it's like, it's the way that it is. Again, just like I was saying, how I'll never know what it's like to be in your 30s and not be a mom. I'll never know what it's like to now be here in this Nairobi, Kenya, and not be known by people, at least not in this time of space or whatever.
Can I ask, do you sometimes just don't care? Do you sometimes just don't care? Like, sometimes I just walk in town. I'm like, Atan Tatembea Archives, Atan in the downtown.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes don't care?
Me, I feel like I just live my life as if it's just like anyone's life. Obviously it's just that I'm not going to do something illegal out there, because I know someone will take a picture and somehow tomorrow it will be in the news. I'm at Nairobi Gossip Club. But I feel like I'm just the way that I am. Okay. And sometimes it's just like if someone comes to take a picture and I'm not in the mood, I'll just be like, no thanks, I don't want to take a picture. Or, something like that. But I wish I had I think before it all happens, it's like you don't really think about how nice it feels to just be somewhere and not have someone come say hi, or someone take a picture of you undercover, or someone make up a story about you, or someone, it's just like, it used to be nice. But even still, where I am right now still feels nice, because every day when I wake up and I'm just like, I can make this amount of money without having to go anywhere, and I can literally make it from my bed if I wanted to. That's worth it for me, to be honest. It's worth it. I guess the point I would have made is the one about the legal and how important it is to have legal, but also how important it is for you to have a support system. People who just keep you, can I say humble? Well, yeah, humble,
grounded.
but grounded, exactly. People who just keep you grounded and who just like, who know the real you, who it's like your Joanne, for me, Joanne, before I'm Murugi, because Murugi is like my brand, but like I'm Joanne, and I feel like having that support system, which is mostly my sisters is so important and so amazing. Yeah.
Do they
like
bring you
that.
down to earth? They're like, with you
Yeah.
celeb, you leave it at the door.
Exactly, yeah, they do, but not like that, but they do. But sometimes it's like, I guess when I'm with them, it doesn't feel like my brand is as big as it actually is, until like now maybe we go outside, or like we're at an event and they're like, wow, you're like kind of like really famous, what the fuck, kind of thing. But yeah, with them it just feels like it's just like me, the way that I am, which feels nice. Yeah.
I think mine is also to that point, a support system, slightly different. For me, it's like, don't be afraid to actually invest in a team. Like, I feel like in the creative world, it comes across like such a, oh, why would you do that? In every other industry, people have teams. Like, the point of the team is to support a certain structure. And I just think, of course, sometimes it's expensive. I agree, and it's hard when you're starting out. But I think it's something nice and very helpful to factor in as you're starting out, because the thing we're selling at the end of the day is our creativity. and that creativity needs certain conditions to be able to exist and
Yeah.
express
Thrive.
itself.
Yeah,
So you have to outsource the things that are not part of that creativity. Like me, honestly, a lot of the admin roles, a lot of other social media things. That's why I have a social media person, because to me, those are tools for me to put my creativity onto. But I can't spend that much of my time and effort running a lot of these things. And I feel like it really helps. At least for me, it's really helped my journey in terms of being able to stay consistent in this world.
Yeah.
So I would just encourage those who can look at it as an investment and try and build out those teams, guys.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
So
think you're really good
I
at that, Sharon.
Thank you. I really
Yeah.
Outsourcing the things
She
that she
from
doesn't
day
need
one,
to
she's
do.
like, da-da-da-da-da, and I'm like,
Outsource.
how?
Yeah.
But maybe you still have some. You still have some Google money that's helping.
No comments. No comments. No
It's
comments.
good to say. You see, this husband Google money.
You, what are you bringing to the table?
What?
Gordon's money.
I have. Yeah, I got the money.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I ain't got the money,
Yeah.
but I'm also saying let's be real, kidogo. Like
So
it's
it's
hard.
not like
It's
you're
hard for
starting-
guys. It's
Very
hard for.
hard.
It's hard for me to make maybe some certain risks because it's me alone. Ain't nobody gonna be like, baby, just do it. I got you in case anything happens. It's me. My dad is not gonna come rescue me. My mom's not gonna come rescue me. I don't have no husband to rescue me. Again, building a team. The money that's coming in is the one that is paying for this team and my rent and my medical insurance and my fuel and my hair and my nails and you understand? So as much as we are saying these things,
Yeah.
what else has contributed to that?
So can
was
I-
there
yeah.
an investment that was? I
No,
mean, was there a
it's-
capital?
Can I? It's the way, you know how the first thing you said, or one of the points you both agreed on was you need a lawyer on your team. So that's what I mean by a team. The same way you value the importance of a lawyer, I value the importance of a PA. I value the importance of a social media manager in this line of work, in the same way that you value a lawyer. Because I just feel like the people that have those skills are the ones running that side of my business. So I almost can't be a creator
Without that.
It's almost like you can't be a creator without a lawyer if you're doing actual contracts. So it's putting them at the same, where are you finding this money to pay lawyers? Me, I saw lawyer fees for creators and I was like, guy, like this shit is expensive.
Yeah.
But you have to because you're in that business. So I think it's looking at it like it's part of the investment of being in this business.
Yeah.
Because if sometimes for me, I'm like, I can't be sitting here responding to comments. I can't be sitting here figuring out my content strategy. To me, I feel like those are not things that my creative brain is getting the best use of its time.
Or maybe even your skill set.
Or my skill set, yeah, and it's not my skill set. So there are people who are way better at me at that. And so if I think I need to have a lawyer, I'll think I also need to have a kick-ass PA. I need to have a kick-ass whatever support someone might need. So that's kind of where it comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry. I was going to wrap it up. It's your episode.
Yeah, we can wrap it up. I'm
What
seeing
did
Beryl
Mike-
holding the mic.
He already said.
Yeah, I think I wanted to compliment Jules.
right.
But
Yes.
I feel a little bit
Sema tu.
No,
Okay.
seriously, Will.
No, one of the things I really admire about you is how real you are.
Very real.
Thank you.
Yeah, like
Authentic.
how you laid as it is. Yeah, and how you like paint perspective and say things the way they are, especially for you. I think that's why people connect with you.
Thank you. Sharon has always told me that I didn't know.
I
It's so
always
true.
know.
I'm
Yeah.
just
That's why
like
you should
when
charge
you people are,
650.
so you people are,
Exactly.
and
And she's still not charging
and
650.
be like,
Crazy.
no one is realer than me in this podcasting
Thank you.
industry or in this
Like,
industry.
when you guys are inauthentic. Are
I
you
just
not
think you're
real?
so real.
Are you unreal?
Me, I'm so real, man.
But so then what's the difference?
I think
Anyway, never mind.
Okay, yeah, well, that's a whole other podcast.
It's a whole
But
other conversation,
Yes, I
but-
agree. We definitely need to wrap.
Yes,
But
we
this
need to
was
wrap.
so useful, and I really hope, like, if there's other creators watching this, please leave your the things you've learned in your journey in the comment section. Let's actually create that as a resource for anybody who is in this space and they know, okay, that episode for IRIP where they were talking about surviving gig economy and we had these amazing guests. If I just go to the comment section one day, I'm struggling, I know I can find all the tools, the resources that I need in this comment section. So let's make that a reality.
And something
guys.
I'd also like to add is that this conversation is not only limited to influencers and podcasters. This is something that this is a conversation on all creators in the creative space,
Yeah.
actors, filmmakers,
Photographers.
We all kind of have the same
Freelancers, yeah.
freelancers. We can all kind of have the same struggle.
Yeah.
And for me, I would want the kind of space I'm trying to build is a space where when I when I'm no longer here, one thing we are sure of is that we ain't gonna be here forever. Is that we've made it better for. I would love my daughter to walk into a space where she's like, damn, now I can demand for this. Now I can do this, and it's us who are actually laying the brickwork. Is it the brickwork, the groundwork?
Groundwork.
Yeah. So so for us creators, like let's continue to stick together, to encourage each other, support each other, support each other's shows. I'm going for TMI on Saturday.
Yes, we're coming, babe.
Yes, me and Sharon are coming.
There's a TMI show on Saturday.
Look at you now.
Yes.
Yeah, buy a ticket.
Where?
Iko Shamba Cafe.
Okay.
Yes, I know by the time this comes out, the
We'll have
live will have
already
already been an
happened.
amazing
Yes.
experience.
Yeah.
That thing where even now, I went to watch Sarafina on Saturday, and I went to watch
Luanda
Luanda
Otero.
on Friday,
So
and then now
good.
I've gotten like 10 DMs, babe, asking how do you know about these shows? How do you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, go to MOOC, go to Tickets,
Yeah,
go
Kenya Buzz.
just Kenya Buzz, go and see those
There's
things.
always things
There's
happening,
always things
yeah.
happening, and you see, it's because I've gone that now. I have maybe inspired another 10 people to go, who will inspire another 10 people.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we didn't even have plays.
No,
I
it's
used
musical.
To, I used to, I used to, I used to
Kenyan
say,
music,
I want to live
bro.
abroad so that I can
You can
go
go to
for a
Broadway,
play. I can go for,
yeah.
here, all we used to do is go to the bar, honestly, on
to
weekends.
Mercury.
And now we have options, but those options are created by a system
supporting
that
them.
is
Us
supporting
going.
economically.
Exactly,
So,
yeah.
that's what I want,
love
parting
that.
shots.
Thank you.
I love that. Guys, we've come to the end of this podcast. If you made it this far, thank you so much for supporting our content. And thank you so much, guys, for gracing us with your presence. We'd love to have you back sometime soon.
Thank you.
And of course, as we said, please leave a comment down below. Let's make this a resource. And as always, this has been It's Related.
I promise.